We are in the longest gap now, officially, without knowing what the next Halo game is going to be. The truth is, we know less about Halo today than we ever have in the past 24 years or so that Halo has existed. So you're not alone if you feel like nothing is happening with the franchise. I mean, we got the Halo TV show this year, but yeah, I want to talk about what the future of Halo looks like. Yes, we've talked so much about the past and Halo Infinite, which, by the way, is certainly done with. Remember when Halo Infinite was supposed to have that 10-year plan? Well, I like to remind you guys that was said by one guy, once again never mentioned by anyone else at 343, and that guy left, probably fired actually, about 3 weeks after saying that. I think, personally, there was never a 10-year plan, and a lot of people, from what I know, knew that Halo Infinite was going to flop before release. Now, what do we know about Halo 7 before release? Well, it's not just 343 suffering. I don't know if you guys remember back with Halo 4 and Halo 5, all the vidocs, all the interaction, all the leadership. There really is none of that at 343. It feels like the company is frail and weak, but it's not just them. It's the whole industry. Animators, video game developers, movies, Hollywood, shows. I mean, for Christ's sake, look at Disney. Everything is on a creative downslope, if not just a literal downslope, right? Even though these companies have never been richer, from what I understand, this is due because of what I think is investments, right? They want to show the investors that they are growing, which is why they bought Activision and all these other studios like Bethesda and then fired half of everyone pretty much, right? Now, this all kind of spawned out of inflation. This is also from the C19 post effects, global trade prices, everything's out of whack. But this has also affected 343, and there seems to be some more people that are going to get fired at Xbox in the near future as well. Now, due to this situation, perhaps 343 should take a radical step. Now, I did a poll, but many others have done polls, and it all seems to reflect the same thing. When it comes to Halo fans, people mostly care about the campaign. I do think that Microsoft is planning to have 343 only do one of these two things. Of course, there will be all kinds of implications about this and outrage when people find out that a Halo game is releasing without campaign or without multiplayer. One of those two will probably be missing, but at least the thing that does come will be fulfilling, right? Instead of one or the other sucking. Clearly, with Halo 4, I think, in my opinion, the multiplayer sucked. And then Halo 5 had good multiplayer, but the campaign sucked. And then here we are again, with the campaign being good, but the multiplayer sucking. Is Halo 7 going to follow suit and have a great multiplayer to compensate Halo Infinite's, whereas the campaign will suck and the story will not make sense and it will be convoluted or just bad? That's what I worry about. And I do wonder if they're going to finally get ahead of this and finally learn their lesson that they can only do one, and if they can do it well, perhaps they will have, captured the day and done good for the community. Clearly, people want the lore, they want Master Chief, or they want like other things regarding the story. I think it would be a great time for a spin-off campaign-only game, just like Halo 3 ODST was. I think Halo needs to not fall into obscurity. Like, yes, there is massive competition right now, but let's talk about what we do know regarding Halo 7. The biggest takeaways of the last true update that we had besides job listings was this. They said the best years are not behind us. They will take their learnings from Halo Infinite to what could be next. And a lot of cool things are on the horizon. Now, this was said by Sketch on an interview back in December 2023. Possibly empty words, empty promises, because from what we've seen in the past, but it's just exciting to know that they have been planning and are actively developing something new regarding a new game for at least 2 years now. But the sentiment with the fans is very clear. A lot of people in their morale on this series is weakened. And why should it not be, right? I mean, with things like Zelda, Elden Ring, Fortnite, and tons of other games, countless games that are continuously pushing the envelope, especially the indie scene, which is constantly pushing back and toppling AAA or quadruple A studios, which is just a joke. These studios can't push out a single finished product. And it makes sense why Halo is forgotten by the masses. It falls into this AAA studio. So everyone always talks about, oh yeah, I love that series, but it fell off for me, right? It's just a universal fact that Halo has been forgotten for some reason, even though Microsoft is one of the richest companies in the world, and there's absolutely no reason, despite inflation, despite the economy, that one of their biggest IPs should be forgotten. I mean, at the Xbox Game Showcase, Phil Spencer said his own 4 horsemen of the apocalypse was Fable, Gears of War, and Halo, and something else I can't think of right now. But Halo keeps not showing up, okay? All the other 3 did, but Halo continuously does not show up at the Xbox Game Showcase for years now. It would be really great to have some kind of teaser, even if it's gonna release in 2028, man. I mean, I wanna see something, at least understand what is going on for the future, right? Ultimately, what Phil Spencer said last year was that they wanted to give 343 time to do their own things. They don't want to push them to push out a game, which is good. I think ultimately 343 has done very good and very bad with certain things. Like Halo 5 was really good multiplayer, but terrible campaign. And then pretty much the opposite with Halo Infinite, even though Halo Infinite's campaign could have been a lot stronger. I think that, honestly, if 343 wanted to dedicate their entire studio to making Halo Infinite or Halo 7, whatever they want to call it, the next big Halo game, then they should use the whole studio, forget about multiplayer, because that's a whole other department, right? Outsource that to another studio that knows what they're doing, that can respect the Halo formula, that can build off what Halo Infinite did, because honestly, I did like Halo Infinite's multiplayer. So the conclusion here is that I do think that 343 should stop working on multiplayer and start working exclusively on campaign, especially if they're going to go the open world route again. I want them to actually do what they implied they were going to do in 2018 at E3 with this demo, where they showed lots of interesting wildlife and ancient human caves on the Halo ring from, you know, a complete different era in, you know, the universe, and so many other cool aspects that could have been on this ring that just were kind of instead a empty void open world, right? Which Halo Infinite was. So I want them to actually finish a good part of the campaign. It's pretty clear that 343 is going to Unreal Engine 4 or 5, and this of course will take extra development time, but I think that it will probably be offset by the fact that it's an industry standard, the fact that they don't need to learn new tools. Like Subspace Engine is a proprietary tool, which means that contractors and employees that come into the studio have to learn how to use it. But if they go the Unreal Engine route with Halo, then there is no need to learn a bunch of new tools for the most part. They are already familiar with it because it's an industry standard, and I think that this is actually going to help development time. I am looking forward to some kind of teaser in the next year, hopefully at Xbox Game Showcase next year. Hopefully we get tons of tidbits and fun stuff, especially the new Halo books seem to be pointing towards what is going to be happening in Halo 7, which I do want to talk about soon. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to talk about this. I think 343 should just work on the campaigns. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments, and of course, be sure to smash that like button blue. I'll see you soon. Peace.